Going to do a brief walk around of November 10 Juliet whiskey. It is a Vans RV-10. Because these are kit build airplanes, it's up to the builder on some of the fit and finishes that are done. I'm just going to talk about some of those right now. So I chose the 3-blade composite Hartzell propeller. It does come with the polished spinner. Some of the adjustments below that, it's a Rod Bowers ram air system, and that's electronically actuated from within the cockpit. There's some trim pieces just on the cowling as well as the nose wheel to kind of protect it some. I did do kind of push button oil door as opposed to the little screw ones that come on the factory kit. There's a little blemish here. This blemish is because I removed the mechanical stall horn because I got a Garmin regulated heated pitot tube. So I put that on. If you look at the wheel pant, I have the fairing piece connected to the wheel pant actually attached to the two main fairing hubs. So those are, you just undo those screws around and they come off. You will see little bits of cosmetic issues. She's been flying for over 7 years at this point and about 500 hours. So you're bound to get rocks and whatnot thrown up. Cow flaps, also electronically actuated down on the bottom by the exhaust. So those are an option. I chose the Aero LED lights, super bright, super effective. There was some modifications that had to be done to the wingtip to accommodate that. Get over to the baggage door real quick. Some of the interior pieces, and I'll show that in another video, but you do have an arm rod to keep the door open. A dongle for a battery tender, pretty important. As you get back to the tail pieces, again, you're going to see some where the bucking bar or the rivet gun kind of got away from me at times. If you get really fancy, you can do body work on that, but I chose not to just from the weight. As you look on the back here, I do have a custom-made rudder lock. This gust lock was something that Greg Hale, who was another RV-10 friend pilot builder, and it really is just this angle piece I'm able to lock down easy like that, won't move. Some people struggle when you park these outside, that thing flapping around. So you can fix that, and you can actually hold your control surfaces in place just with the belt buckle. As we walk around, something I didn't say on the other side, I do have different static ports. These are aftermarket status ports. No issue with this. They've worked great. You'll see little things like traditionally Vans aircrafts are left wing heavy. You can put tabs like this one to kind of help with that. In this case, there's still a little left wing drop. You can fix that with autopilot and, or I'm sorry, with trim. If you look down below, you'll see the scoop. There is air conditioning in this. I didn't point it out on the front, but there's a custom-made fiberglass piece to protect the belt that is on, connected to the spinner for the air conditioner. Specific to the doors, I do have the plain around center lock, which just ensures there's a good fit. The door molding's a little bit different. This was something that a lot of builders at the time when I built this was doing, and it worked out fine. It's just used as a different type of item. So again, you can walk around it. The paint's pretty solid, but it does have some wear and tear. Fiberglass is good, but you'll still see some crack. You can always find something. She's a 7-year-old airplane that's been flying regularly. I'm going to do a quick tour of November 10 Juliet Whiskey's cabin. You have your over your head here, which has lights, place to hold the headphones, and then your AC vents, set of Rosen sun visors, a cover for the glare shield gives it a nice finished look. Everything else is pretty much Aerosport inside, to include the carbon fiber panel, the center console with the throttle quadrant. Moving left to right, you have a CO2 detection. There's an electronic CO2 monitor in it. Press the button to test it. You'll get a blinking light and you'll get an annunciation for CO2 levels. Battery fault detector as well as low battery voltage. This light will blink when that happens. You have two batteries. You got an Earth X in the back as well as an Earth X behind the panel. And I also have two alternators out on the engine here. So a lot of redundancy. Couple that redundancy with the G5. That's kind of a tertiary unit. It has its own battery backup. Also kind of functions on its own. I could turn everything off and it's still going. Overhead unit is a 3-axis autopilot system, so you do have your yaw damper functionality. Got your radio head. You also got a GTN 650. This does have one nav antenna out in the wingtip, so you can shoot ILS approaches, you can track VORs. This is a really capable aircraft for IMC or just doing IFR training. As you move down to the buttonology here, pull the stick back a bit. I do have it keyed system. I prefer the key system because I want to know that the mags are off when I take the key out. So if I'm getting gas and it's in my hand, I know the mags are off. Switch wise, you can customize these however you want. Avionics, boost pump, cow flaps that I mentioned before, the ram air, it's the Rod Bowers thing that is out on the front, and then a pitot heat. There's an oil damper knob on here. I did have that, but it caused me some problems. So I fly in Oklahoma for the most part. It's hot here. I'm not worried about that. These engines also run pretty hot. So I went ahead and removed that. There's a blank spot here. It did have a rudder bias system on it, but again, it was something that I wasn't really using, so I just pulled it. You got rheostats for your various lighting setups, and then all your switches for your lighting, as well as your air conditioning controls over here and some USB chargers. Lastly, you got an ELT over there. That's where that's mounted. Well, the ELT is in the back, but that's where the control's mounted. There are only 2 breakers in this plane, and those are to control the AC. The rest of the traditional breakers, the rest of the breakers are attached to the VPX system, which works out great. As I get down to the stick, I have Infinity flight grips. These are awesome. Pretty standard in setup. You got push to talk, you got your trim, you got your autopilot disconnect, you have your flap momentary switches, you got your control wheel steering, and this blue button here is a safety button. I hit it and it puts it in level. So if I get incapacitated or something happens, somebody hits that, if you heard the click, it's the autopilot kicking on, it will fly level. I've actually used it in IMC where I get a little disoriented. It's a great safety feature. And air, fuel switch or fuel selector, again, works great. Haven't had any problems with it. And then, of course, the throttle quadrant. So it's a really relaxing plane to fly. Everything's touch. It's not overly complicated.